Hello everybody, it is Edge0626 back again. I hope everybody is doing well. I apologize for the lack of uploads over the last couple of weeks, but life had gotten pretty crazy, and unfortunately the channel had to fall to the wayside a bit. Sometimes it be like that, but I'm here today to talk to you guys about a topic that I thought was pretty interesting to say the least. And that topic is the uncomfortable discussion, for me anyway, of why I don't play Destiny 2 anymore. Now, when I first started playing this game back in 2019, I had bought it because all my friends would always be on the game. A lot of my normal friend group was always there. My buddy Hollow, who you all know, was always playing that game. And so I decided to buy it, and I was just like, sure, let's give this a shot. I had trashed the game for years when Destiny 1 was out because I was, the big Call of Duty guy. And then moving on to Battlefield, I'm like, I don't need Destiny. Fucking Destiny's stupid. Who needs it? Then it started infiltrating like every aspect of gaming in some way, shape, or form, like with the supers. And I think that and Overwatch kind of infiltrated into Call of Duty, and I wasn't a huge fan of that. So I was just like, nah, I'm not going to mess with that too much anymore. Then I moved on to Battlefield, which was more of like my style of what I want a first-person shooter to be. But then over time, I started realizing that I didn't want to play some of these games anymore because they were either not great or getting a little bit boring to play over time, and they weren't as populated because they were older. So I decided to try Destiny. And at first, I really loved the game. It's fucking confusing at first when you're trying to just figure everything out, and you're like coming in halfway through the Shadowkeep DLC. But it was still pretty interesting, to say the least. I enjoyed it for quite a few years up until the last year or so of this game's existence, and we'll get into it. Let's just get right into why I just don't play this game anymore and the issues that I've had with it. And a lot of it is my own issues, to be fair, but there are also issues in-game that I just don't enjoy certain aspects of that I kind of just want to make my feelings about it known. The first thing is just the grind. Now, when you're like me and you're busy all the time now, you just don't have time to grind on a game like Destiny anymore. Destiny is a very, very grindy game. If you've played the game, you know you have to do a whole bunch of different challenges and play a bunch of different modes to get these pinnacle gear drops that a lot of times aren't really that great. Like, they're more or less used to raise your light level. But for me, that started playing this game very late, I always felt like I was behind. I tried so hard to work up to a level where I can get to all of my friends, and I can start getting the gear that I wanted, and playing a way where it could benefit me because I have this gear, but I feel like I never achieved that. Part of that is because of the grind and the loot drops and the fact that, and these two kind of points coincide with each other, the loot drops are just absolutely terrible for me half the time. I almost have little to no luck getting any sort of exotic or decent weapon with a good roll in this game. And because of that, I kind of always stick with the same weapons over and over again that don't necessarily work out for me for a lot of these modes. Like, maybe a weapon will work out better for me in PvE than it does in PvP, where I actually really want to get better at the game as far as like aiming, shooting, taking out targets, things of that nature. But my god, it's just, these drops are so infuriating for me sometimes. After hours and hours on end, what was it? Like when I was doing the grind for Grandmaster a while back ago, like a year and a half, 2 years ago now, it feels like. Along the way to get to that grind to Grandmaster, I can't tell you how many shit armor or weapons drops I got in between that time, and it was just one of the most infuriating things I had ever done. It was like, I played this game, it was the only game I played for several months, and the grind more or less took a toll on me, because I didn't want to play this game for this amount of time. I only did it to beat a Grandmaster, Nightfall, to then get a Platinum Trophy on PlayStation. That's the only reason I did it. And then once I got that Platinum, I was kind of like, man, I feel so accomplished now. But then I realized, you have to keep playing the game over and over and over again. It's a never-ending grind, and it's like, oh, I have to do this all over. Fantastic. Not to mention the amount of time I spend doing other things. I do like I do at least 2 to 3 side hustles that I try to work on with podcasting and other projects that I want to do, doing this channel, things like that. And to be honest with you, when all that happens, as well as work and real life issues on top of that, the gaming kind of falls to the wayside. Like, for instance, I'll give you an example. When I purchased the Witch Queen DLC, I think I maybe played 2.5 months worth of that entire DLC when it first came out. I played it on and off for like 2.5 months, and I never completed a single season. I spent $100 on that game. Actually, no, let me correct myself. A buddy of mine felt sorry for me, gave me money to play the game with them, and I kind of just stopped playing almost halfway through. Not even almost halfway through, like literally like after the second season of the Witch Queen. I was like, I don't have time for this game anymore. I'm sorry. I don't know what you want me to tell you. And it's like I just spent $100 of someone else's money to not fucking play a game that I wanted to play. I felt so bad. I still owe him that money too, and I still haven't paid him back, and I am going to eventually pay him back. But besides the point, yes, I feel like I spend all this money and I don't play the game, and it's like I waste the money. And that's kind of why I didn't buy the recent DLC that came out in February, because there's really no reason for me to play the game anymore at this point. Like, I don't have time to play this game. Why am I going to spend money on this expansion pack, which is only going to keep doing the same thing for me over and over again? Like, they're going to keep giving me the exact same types of modes to grind on, and that's just the other thing. The repetitiveness of these modes with each season. Like, you'll do the story quest, and they'll give you this repetitive mode that every couple of weeks, and it's just boring. Like, the entire process of playing the game is, like, mind-numbingly boring. Like, they give you this horde mode to do, like, every couple of sections in the quest, and it's like, okay, great, I've done this, like, 5 times already. It's ridiculous, and I still get shit loot out of it. And the fact that they add this content and take away other content in the game is even more annoying, because, to be honest with you, there's a lot of content that I miss in this game, Destiny 2. Like, for instance, when Beyond Light came out, they took away like 3 or 4 planets in the game. And I understand why, because if they didn't, the game would be so massive that no standard PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X, or actually PS4 at the time, because that's when this came out on, no standard piece of hardware would be able to handle it at that point. It's just too big, and I understand that, but the problem is they actually took away a lot of variety for players, and that's really where I'm kind of getting with this whole gameplay repetitiveness and boredom sort of thing, because I would be playing Strikes, and all of a sudden, I'm playing this same planet for like 2 of the 3 strikes. Not to mention, they took away one of my favorite strikes in the game later on the Tangled Shore, which was the Fanatic. I don't know if it was called the Fanatic, but that was the guy that we fought at the boss fight, and I absolutely loved that strike. When they took that out, I was upset. I was very upset. I loved that strike, and the fact that they took it away made it really hard for me to be like, yeah, I still want to play this game. So, now that I've kind of gone through all the issues that I have with the game, I want to just quickly read off a couple of things that I asked my friends to provide for me as far as insights as to the issues they have with the game that would make them want to quit. My buddy Ben interjected and said, servers are dog shit and the lack of Crucible attention. That is true. Crucible more or less never gets any sort of new maps with any expansion on the game. And I think the Witch Queen was like the first one that they had in a long time that I can recollect that mattered. And even then, the map is kind of, it's whatever. It's an okay map, but still not fantastic for certain modes, depending on who you ask in the community. My buddy Foxman said SBMM and Crucible being dog shit, and just the overall lack of content in the core playlists, i.e. Strikes, Crucible, and Gambit. Gambit gets no love. I like Gambit when I play it. I know a majority of the community doesn't like Gambit. They'd rather see it removed from the game entirely. But to be honest with you, I actually really, really like Gambit. I like that it's a combination of both PvE and PvP. I've had a couple of incredible games on Gambit, but it's just same maps over and over again. Same maps, and it just becomes boring and repetitive, and again, you do the same thing over and over again, you just get tired of it. So that's kind of where I am at with Destiny 2. Like, it was a great run for me. It was a great game to play. But as of right now, I just don't care to play the game anymore. I have so many other things going on in my life where I just can't commit that amount of time to playing one singular game. It's not like 2042 where I can sit on that for like an hour and bullshit with my friends and play a match or two whenever I want, or play a story game like Ghost of Tsushima and any of the Spider-Man games that I still haven't touched, even though I got this bundle for PlayStation 5 like 3 years ago. That's one of the many other issues I have. And then on top of that, there's just so many other games I would rather play right now than Destiny 2 because of all the issues I just listed. And to some people, it seems pretty uninformed, like, oh, you don't understand Destiny, that sort of thing. I understand the community's very protective of the game at times, but I also know there's a lot of people that go up against the game and the issues that they have and are very vocal about. But, you know, I just wanted to give my 2 cents on it. And I would love the game to be better, but right now I just don't have time to play it, and I really have no incentive to really play it anymore. With that being said, hope you guys enjoy the video. Be sure to let me know what you think about it down in the comment section below. Follow me on all the social medias you see down in the description, as well as check out all my podcasts. My name is Ed0626. Take care of yourselves, and most importantly, take care of each other.